Everybody, welcome to Follow Up Boss Office Hours. Really excited to dig in today with our admin operational friends on workflows and Follow Boss, and really kind of setting the standard of what you guys are expecting your agents to do each day and what that looks like, and how to make it something that's useful for you and valuable for your agents to understand what to do. I'm here today with Alejandro from the Success team. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well, Lee. Thank you so much. How are you?
Good. I'm really good. I'm excited to dig in with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at Follow Up Boss and what you did before that, if that's interesting.
Sure. So I've been with Follow Up Boss for about 1.5 years. I love it here. It's wonderful. I'm a customer success manager. And so basically I'm here helping teams onboard, helping people understand what the product does, how to leverage the tools successfully, how to, come up with some strategy. Of course, a big part of that strategy is developing a workflow for the agents. So that's what brings me here today. Before I got into software, I was actually a personal trainer. So coaching has always been something that I really love, helping people do it better. So landed here with in part with some help from the pandemic. So
Cool.
But it's cool. Working remotely is a wonderful thing.
That's great. That's super cool. I didn't know that about you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know it. And that is interesting. I didn't mean to ask it that way, but that is very interesting. Very cool. All right, good. Well, I'm going to run just a super quick poll just to see who's on. If you guys could give us some quick feedback so we make sure we're speaking relevantly to you guys. But I think as a whole, Alejandro, I love the way that you said that, because I think, having these simple systems around okay, step one, we want you to check your smart list or check your tasks or check your appointments, and kind of fitting all that in is really a powerful thing. And it allows agents to not sit at a computer all day, which is not what we want them doing, but to kind of tee up their day maybe, or spend a little time prospecting, following up with people, and then they can go off to the races. So what kind of workflows do you kind of recommend for teams in general?
Yeah, well, I would say a simple one, very simple, because agents, they have a lot of plates to spin, right? They have a lot to do and make sure that they're staying up on. So Follow Up Boss, even within Follow Up Boss, there's a lot of plates to spin. So we want to make sure that we go about it in a very pragmatic way, right? When I sign on, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then once that's all done, it's just maintenance at that point. So making sure that you have something very simple and clear in place that you can remember to do every day. And I always use this example of it's like a car. It's like learning how to drive a car, right? Make sure that you know how to go, right? And then practice it, right? But when you first started driving, you're like, oh my God, where do I put these keys? What do I do now? You had to think about all these different steps. But as you got more and more practice, it just became automatic, right? Now you just get in your car and you hardly, look behind you when you go into reverse. So that's how we want it to be with Follow Up Boss. We want it to be very, very clear for every single person every time they log in. This is what I'm here to do, and just knock it out. Boom, boom, boom. So really the key features that I would suggest leveraging in Follow Up Boss for anyone is communicating and changing a stage from lead. And what that's going to lead into is your smart lists working for you. Next, I would say the inbox, or, all of these are interchangeable. It's not, you don't have to do it in any particular order, but making sure that you keep these plates spinning, making sure that you check these boxes off is really going to help you. So your inbox, make sure you get to all the people that reached out to you, right? Your tasks, I would say, all of us are very intelligent people, but we can't remember everything. So that's what tasks are for, is to help us remember what it is we were supposed to do at a certain time or whatever. And the notifications bell. We never want any of our leads slipping through the cracks, but we also don't want any communication or important information or app mentions or anything like that to slip through the cracks either, right? We want to be as good of an agent as we can be, because that's it comes through with our clientele. So I would say that incorporating at least those 4 things into your workflow every day is going to be a huge chunk of whatever you actually need to do in Follow Up Boss.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's great about that is just getting them down. I know somebody who actually made like a little laminated card for all the agents that was like, every Monday do this, or every week do this, or every day do this, and keep it really simple. But to be honest with you, I feel like a lot of times that's why people join a team or a brokerage, is to get some of that direction around, like, what am I supposed to do that's the most effective? Like, what are other people doing that's working? And so, yeah, I think having that, it's something I've started doing more and more too, is writing down, like, okay, first thing, check your appointments for the day. Second thing, check your smart list. Third thing, check your notifications. And then when it's prospecting time, go in a pond. But it's like really good clarity for people. They know exactly, kind of what to do and when and how often.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen? Maybe we'll take a look at maybe each of those pieces, and then we can speak a little maybe to each one as we go.
Surely. Cool. So the first one I really want to talk about is smart lists, because it's my favorite feature in Follow Up Boss. It's really the main way that this software prevents any of your leads from slipping through the cracks. Ideally, you'd have a system where you have a list that incorporates all of your stages, which that's, without glossing over it too much, stages are going to do 2 things. Let me show you what I mean. Stages right here in any contact profile, they indicate where people are in the transaction pipeline, but they also, oops, that's source. There we go, stages. You can see that they indicate where people are in the transaction pipeline. So when are they going to be ready to transact? Are they transacting with me now? Have they transacted with me in the past? Or are they my sphere, etc.? But they also tell the system how often to put these people in front of us. So, I would say one of the 2 most important things that anyone can do in Follow Up Boss is change the stage as soon as you know where the person is in the transaction pipeline, and also communicate through the system. That way, this last communication field will update automatically. It'll show you who's doing what and when they're doing it, right? Like, so Caroline called Marcel July 14th, and this is the recording in this case. But emails, one-to-one texts will all be will all move that needle in, as far as last communication. Marketing texts or emails will not. So if it's a drip, if it's an action plan email, that's not going to move the needle as far as the last communication, nor will batch emails. So if you ever send a batch email, don't expect it to update the last communication. It will not. Only a one-to-one agent to contact, email, text, or phone call, will move that needle. So those 2 things. So whether you're communicating through the desktop app or the mobile app, the same thing will happen. It will automatically log, track, timestamp, and report on that communication. So that's one of the most important things. And then the other most important thing I just mentioned was changing the stage. And when you do those 2 things, that's what's going to lead the program to keep these smart lists up to date. And that's really what I want to talk about. So smart lists, for those of you who aren't familiar, are they show you a certain group of people. So if we're in the people tab and we go to all people, you can see if I click on filters, there's none. So this is just going to be all of my people, right? If I'm an agent, it's just going to be the people that are assigned to me or that I'm collaborating on. Of course, this is the owner account. This is Lee's owner account. So he can toggle to see everyone's leads if he wants. Same with an admin. They'll be able to see this menu. But every list to the right here is what we call a smart list. And all they are lists with a different set of saved filters on them. That's it, right? They're just saved search filters. So we do this because it's way easier to save a search filter than to have to go to all people and put the same filter over and over again to see the same subset of people. So really, if you communicate in Follow Up Boss and you change the stage, you can count on these lists showing you the most relevant people that you can contact today, right? So for instance, Joe Smith, this person was created more than a day ago. The stage is hot prospect, so he's willing to transact within 0 to 3 months. And the last time I talked to him was more than 12 hours ago. So really this list should say hot every day, but either way, right? Like we can, for those of you that don't know how to do this, more than, actually 3 days ago, because it's bi-weekly, 3 days, cool, changed it. And now we're updating the list and it's fixed, right? It's that simple, right? It's because really smart lists is just saved filter lists. So you can, as admins and owner, you can change it for everyone. As agents, you can create your own. You can be creative and make your own. It'll only show up in your profile if you do. But back to why smart lists are awesome is because it's always going to show you the most important people that you can contact today. So for example, if I call Joe Smith, I don't want to, should I call this person like through here?
I think it's okay. That's probably a fake number, but
yeah, let's see what happens here. Okay, yeah, so it rang once. so I don't want to bother that person, but you can see that if I call them, or the same thing would happen if I text or email them, the last communication updates immediately. It shows that Lee called Joe. The call lasted 1 second. I'd indicate the outcome of the call. There we go. And then boom. Now, when I go back to that list, Joe popped off that list because the last time I communicated with him was not more than 3 days ago. It was just moments ago. So I'm just going to work this list down until it's 0 people. Then I'm going to go to my next list and see if there's anyone here. So really what it boils down to here with smart lists is if they're on the list, it means you need to contact them. That's it, right? There's no more thinking that has to be involved there. Smart lists are always just going to show you who the most important person that you can contact is today, as long as you communicate through follow-up bots and you change their stage, right? So make sure you do those things, those kind of basic things, and incorporate working your smart lists every day, or at least, because sometimes let's find a good example here. Sometimes there'll be a list like this where it's like 138 people. A lot of people have hundreds of people in their sphere, or past clients, right? They have like hundreds of past clients and they're like, Alejandro, I have, 98 past clients. There's no way I'm going to get through all those people today. And that's okay, right? So, get through 6 or 10 or whatever, and make sure that you do. Just have pleasant conversations with them. Let them know that you still care about them. If you're still here for them as a resource, et cetera. Maybe they give you a referral. Maybe they need your help again. But like the last communication for like a past client sphere of influence quarterly list is quarterly. So if you called Jerry and you have a great conversation. Oh yeah, no, it's been great in my new home. Thanks for calling. Like have a wonderful day. Yeah, no problem. Bye. If Jerry doesn't call you back in 90 days, once that time period passes by, he'll pop back up on that list, and you just reach out again. Maybe you just send him a text with a heart. That's it. Just to let him know that you're still thinking about him, right? So in that way, you can maybe do like 5 to 10 people today, 5 to 10 people tomorrow. It'll take you 2 weeks maybe to get through that entire list. And then after the whole list is done, there's not going to be anyone on there for a while. And then they'll start trickling back after 90 days. They'll start trickling back. So that's a really good way of getting all that under control. Right. So
yep. I want to add 2 quick things to that, Alejandro.
Yeah,
I think number one, what's great about smart lists is that they're a little more passive. That's kind of a blessing and a curse, right? Because you have to go to them to do stuff. They're not reminders. They're not, coming at you all the time.
They don't give you notifications.
Right. But that's also kind of the beauty of it, because I know for me, even when I put reminders in my calendar, which I try not to do, they never pop up at the right time. They never pop up when I'm like, oh, this is a great time to call about that, whatever. And so a smart list is a little more of a way that you can start to train people to go find the stuff to do, but it's not constantly coming at them at the wrong time. And I also want to speak to what you mentioned, Alejandro, with the longer, let's say you do have 100 or more past clients or sphere in here, the magic, and maybe you need to adjust that last communication to 180 days to help you start to get through the list. But it's almost better. People all the time are like, oh, I wish I could mass apply an action plan. It's like, no, you don't, because then you have like That's a batch email. If the email is just all going out at the same time, you don't even want that. What you do want to do is call a few every day or a few every week. And then over time, you're always going to have 4 or 5 every day or every week. So it's a good way you can slowly eat the elephant and then set yourself up for future success with only having a few people in each list.
Definitely. And, I'll tack on something even to that. There's a lot of people want an email drip to convert their leads for them, or to and that's a useful tool. It's a very useful tool. And like you mentioned, like start an action plan. Why can't I do the action plans? But people, they don't have an emotional connection to that type of general email, right? And that's what leads to trust, and that's what leads to eventually a deal, right? So working your smart list, although it may seem, I don't know, it may seem tedious for some people, I guarantee you, if you aren't doing this right now and you start doing it, you're going to create more opportunities for yourselves, because people are going to connect with you. And that's who they're dealing with. It's like the home is one thing, of course, right? Beautiful home that they want to buy, but the person that they want to work with, they have complete control over who they work with and don't. So if you're calling them, if you're texting them, if you're being who you are to them, expressing that to them, that's what's going to let them, make their decision and eventually work with you. So cool. Well, that's smart lists. I could go on and on about these, but make sure that if you're not doing this already, work your smart lists. If they're on the list, contact them. Next up in the workflow, I want to talk about the inbox, because really, for a number of reasons, this is the one place where all of your business communication is going to land. And these are all going to be people that contacted you and they're awaiting a response from you. So a lot of agents do this first, right? They'll go to their office, or sit down with their coffee and, all right, here we go. Let's do the thing. And they start with their inbox. They get back to whoever they need to get back to. A couple of things. There's this little filter drop down that I don't want to overlook. You can filter for emails, texts, calls, or any combination of the three. My best advice here, pro tip, is if you do go, filter for only texts or whatever, always put it back. Always put it back, because it'll stay there, and it's burned me in the past, and I don't want that to ever happen to anyone ever again. So another thing to say about the inbox is it's going to show you items that need your attention, right? These are people that of course contacted you. They're awaiting your response, but also they'll stay here until or unless you hit close, right? So if a new person missed a call, maybe I called them back, I'll hit close here. And all that's going to do is it's going to take that conversation out of my inbox and into my closed folder. That's all it does. It's like, here's this box that you need to pay attention to. You do the work, and then you put it in this box where I'm all done, right? So yeah, similarly with the text, let's just pretend this says thanks for all your help. It's been wonderful. You say, you're wonderful too. Close. All right, now it no longer requires my attention. And then you'll just work this similarly to your smart lists, right? You'll work them down until there's nothing there, and then you'll move on, right? So that's how you'll, yeah, go for it.
That quick point, Alejandro, I want to mention, I like that you messaged them and then closed it. I want to reiterate to people that if or when they respond, it'll show back up there. But you have closed the loop on the I don't need to follow up with this guy again type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a really, really important point. So what if this person texts me again, right? Will it stay in my closed folder? No, the system will reopen this conversation. It'll have it completely intact. So it won't start a new thread. It'll keep that first original thread completely intact, chronological order, and it'll always tell you who did what and when they did it, right? So this person texted me here. It was closed by me, reopened by me. This person texted me at this hour. I replied, right? So that's what's really cool about Follow Up Boss. It tells you who did what and when they did it, which is super valuable.
And
Cool.
it probably
So,
goes without saying, but I think we should say it. Obviously, then that contact is all still in the client record as well.
yeah, of
So
course.
the inbox communication is obviously not separate from, these, because it's a demo, these are a lot of
Yeah.
like random fake people, but
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, smart lists and inbox, make sure that those are incorporated into your workflow. Tasks is another wonderful feature. A lot of people have like an aversion to the term tasks. It's like a negative connotation there, but I love them because they help you remember to do very specific things. Oh, let's do, oh, you have none. Okay. That's all right. We'll make one. John Wick. Cool.
see,
This is
all my own plan.
yeah, no, this is a good example of a task, right? It could be a little bit more specific as far as like the date and time, but make sure to bring a closing gift, right? That's a specific thing. How much more valuable is this than this, right? Like the contrast between like just follow up, okay, about what? Like what happened? What do I need to do? I don't know. Besides, make sure to bring a closing gift. Okay, cool. That's what I need to do. So with tasks, there's really not much to say about tasks other than like, one, use them, but two, be as specific as possible, right? Take the 30 seconds or whatever to help your future self as much as you can, right? That's like how I like to phrase this, like help your future self as much as you can, give that person as much of an opportunity to succeed. So, like this is an example I use pretty frequently because this actually happened to me with when I was calling one of my customers. He was in the ER, sprained wrist after falling off a ladder, helping his daughter paint a mural, right? And so instead of me just saying follow up, right, I made this task, and I indicated that I wanted to call him back, that I was going to give him a week to recover, and that it was going to happen at 5:30 p.m. or whatever, after he got home or whatever. So you'll see that when you include a time, it allows you to set a reminder. If you do set a reminder, this task will show up on the main calendar associated with whatever email that you have connected, right? If you don't, then it'll show up on your follow-up boss calendar, right? So if you want it to be incorporated in your Gmail calendar or whatever email that you have hooked up, set a reminder. If not, leave it blank. So yeah, right there. Very specific. Like when I call John, I'll say, how are you? Are you okay? Like, how's your daughter? Like, has she always been an artist? Where did she go to school? What grade is she in? All of these different rapport building, trust building things that are going to, eventually lead this person to transact with you as opposed to anyone else. So that's tasks. Use them. Follow up. I don't want to breeze over this. This is better than nothing, right? Like if you're one of those people that are just like, I don't know, it's either their intelligence or their intuition or both, and they can just remember things. I'm not one of those people. Like I need a reminder telling me like, do this specific thing. Follow up might work for you, right? At any rate, it's a way of helping your future self, and there's never anything wrong with that, right? We should.
Alejandro, can you show a little bit kind of that quick task, like how you did that? You did it, but I just want to make sure people understand.
Yeah. So let's say I'm, talking to John Wick and he's like, hey, can't talk right now. Can you call me back on Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Can you call me back on Sunday? Yeah, cool. 3-day follow-up. And then it's just a quick, boop, 2 clicks, right? And that's for, that can be very valuable if you don't have, much time or whatever, right?
Yeah. And to your point, it's better than nothing. I guarantee you could go back and watch every office hours, and half of them I stress about naming tasks and things right. It's kind of my thing. But if you're not using this at all, or if you just need to be able to do it quick, or you're super comfortable knowing what to say, I love your point, Alejandro. Like if this is your best friend, maybe you don't have to write like call and ask how are they doing today, but like having a task is going to be the key.
Right. Exactly. It's like schedule the inspection with Dale Earnhardt at 10:30 a.m. for 123 Main, right? Like
Right.
that's a good task, right? It's very specific. Cool. So that's tasks. And then lastly, I want to talk about the notifications bell, because, like, as much as we don't want to let leads slip through the cracks and Follow Up Boss, we don't want to let important information slip through the cracks and Follow Up Boss, right? Like we miss calls, when we get texts, when we get voicemails. Let me show you guys how to customize what you see in the notifications bell. This is available to everyone. So if you just click on this notifications bell, it'll drop this menu down. Click on this little gear icon here, and it'll take you to your personal notification settings. And so here, Lee hates getting texts, so he's turned all those off. But
even in the demo account, I'm like,
yeah,
can't do it.
So you can customize what you see via the notification bell on the app, a browser notification, a mobile push, an SMS text message, which are very selective, and that's for a reason, and then through email. So you can see here, like, he has notifications bell notifications for almost everything, right? But if you don't care to see on the notifications bell when you like miss a call or get a text message, like you're generally on top of that, then like you can check it off, you can check it on. You'll notice there's no save. It'll just save if you select it. So don't worry about like, oh, where do I save my selection? It's just going to save it. But yeah, when you get @mentioned, right, you're going to want to know, like, let's say like an admin or the owner or someone needs you to do something on a specific lead. You don't want to miss that. So check that notifications bell, and once you check it, it'll just come off of that list, right? It won't come off the list, but you can see that there's no blue dot there anymore, meaning that you've read it, right? You've seen what it was, you acted on it, whatever, right? It's no longer there. Or you can just X them out. Cool, missed a call, awesome. And just make sure that you act on all of these notifications, because they're there for a reason, right? They're there to help you remember to do things. So really quick recap: work your smart lists, work your inbox, and work your tasks, and check your notifications bell. And if you do all these things every day, like, you're just going to get way better at it, right? You're going to do more work in less time. And you're going to keep those plates spinning, right? You're going to keep those plates spinning all the time. It's going to be way easier for you to do. Follow Up Boss, I say this all the time. It's not just a way of organizing your leads. It's a way of organizing your time, right? And so like a lot of us can use help, like, like time management is like such a huge, like, just topic for specifically agents, because it's like, oh my God, you guys have like free reign on your day, but then you have all these things, all these plates to keep spinning. And so giving Follow Up Boss a time and a place to live, like scheduling out an hour or however much time to make sure that you get this work done every day, is going to help you so much. Stay organized, stay on top of your leads and on top of your business.
Perfect. That was awesome. That was a great summary too of how all the things work together, how all that happens. And again, if you're newer to this, if this is kind of your first foray into some of this, consider just getting something extra simple for starters. Just, hey, we're going to check our smart list every day, or let's, between 9 and 10, we're all going to check our lists, or whatever that is. One other tip I'll add, and I know Alejandro is a fan of this because we talked about it before, is also just maybe writing some of that down. Just writing down, like, check your smart list, 1 through 3, or check client today's leads daily every day. And some of us feel like that's obvious, like they say today's leads and leads daily in the names, but spelling it out, especially again, if you have a team or a brokerage or a group of people, just so it's really ultra clear of like, here's the 3 things we want you to do every day. And Alejandro, I love the way you said that too, because I think what happens is, we all have, again, if you're a team or brokerage, we all have agents, and we're like, well, why aren't they doing this, or why aren't they calling their leads? But maybe we're not making it simple and clear enough for, here's what we expect you to do. And so I think just documenting some of this in a really simple way is where it's
Yeah,
at.
yeah, absolutely. And like in my experience, agents don't adopt this software for two reasons. One, they don't know how to do it. They're like, I don't know, like I don't know how to do
Right.
this. Someone teach me. Yeah, it's
I
like
have
a big
200
thing.
follow-up tasks.
Yeah, totally. And then, but two, they don't understand the value. Like they don't understand what's in it for them. So that the second one is going to take the practice. It's going to take the doing, because you won't see the value until you actually start doing it. So do it, like do it. And then you'll see that you get more appointments booked. You'll see that people start calling you back, coming out of the woodwork, right? Like, I went to a conference last week, and a person was telling me that one of their leads finally got back to them after 2 years of radio silence. 2 years, just because they were past client sphere, like every quarter, just sending a text, sending an email, whatever. And then boop, hey, I want to sell. So, it's a pipeline filler, right? It's a pipeline filler. It's a database organizer. It's a time organizer. So it really it makes you a better agent if you, and that's what's in it for you. Like you're going to be a better agent. More people are going to work with you. More people are going to refer you their business. So that's really the whole point. Make your life way better, make other lives better, right? Your customers are going to have a better experience. So yeah, that's why I love working here, because it works for it's like a win-win-win.
It's awesome. Love it. All right, Alejandro, thanks for being on, man. Loved everything you brought today, and we'll do it again soon.
Yes, thank you for having me. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.